Good morning, and I just thought I'd make this video about those things that I'm having a little bit of difficulty with, kind of a culture shock kind of thing. And so I'll begin off. The first one is shoes. Now I have 3 pairs of shoes. I have a pair of shoes that I wear when I am outside. They're lace-ups, and they are stable and easy for me to get around with because it's rainy season and the ground is slippery, so these lace-ups work very well for that. When I get back to the house, I have to take these off, put another pair of shoes on inside the house. I walk around inside the house with these shoes, but I have to change into yet another pair of shoes to go into the dirty kitchen. So I'm constantly changing shoes all the time. It's like, it's maddening, and the reason is because my outside shoes have mud on them, and otherwise we'd be cleaning the inside of the house all the time because it's so muddy. Back in the U.S., there was no mud. I never got in mud, so there was no problem with that. Another thing is food. The food here is great, but there are some things like rice. They serve rice every single meal. Every single meal. It's like, I like rice, but I don't like to eat it all the time. Oh my goodness, it's too much. So I don't really eat a lot of rice. And I thought, well, what if it was I thought to myself, well, it's just eating the same thing all the time. Maybe if we mix it up a little bit with some red rice or some black rice or some brown rice. And I can tell you that brown rice is pretty good. Red rice is actually pretty good also. Black rice is, I don't know, it's like eating animal fodder. It's just tasteless and lots of fiber, but it's still rice. Ugh, God, so I don't really eat a lot of rice, and as a consequence of that, I just have lost 30 pounds since I've been here, which is definitely a good thing. Another thing that's quite interesting is that in the morning we eat breakfast, and then after we're finished, whatever food is left over goes to lunch. And then it gets heated up for lunch, and then whatever food is left over for lunch goes to dinner. And then whatever is left over from dinner goes to feed the animals, the dogs, the cats, the pig, the chickens, and all that. There's lots of animals. And so, I'm just, when I came here, I purposed in my mind not to have any expectations about what it was going to be like here, and just to accept things as they are. And so I just accept it as it is. And I'm totally okay with that. Another thing is the number of dogs here. There's dogs that come in from outside, the compound, and these are not house dogs. Like in the U.S., your dogs go inside with you. They sleep in your bed. It's not like that here. Dogs are outside, and they're muddy, and they eat anything, and they get diseases. God, we've had 6 dogs die in the last 2 months because they got some kind of a virus, and they just eventually died. And there's, these are poor people. They don't have money to go to, buy antibiotics for the dogs, so they just die, and then more dogs are born, and there's just lots of dogs. It's definitely a different mindset. And there's the rainy season. It's the rainy season right now, and there's lots of rain. It rains 2 or 3 times a day. Right now the sun's out, kind of. And then, but it rained this morning, and it'll probably rain this afternoon. The nice thing about all this is that the temperature is probably 72 degrees. It's really, really nice. I mean, it's awesome. It's, I'm loving it. It's really, really nice. Another thing that's been a little hard to take is the internet goes out a lot. During the middle of the day, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. When the internet is working, the power goes out. It's out for a while. And that's kind of, challenging. Yes, it's really frustrating. It's just really, sometimes just pulling my hair out. It's really, yeah. We had an earthquake here last week. It was just a short little earthquake. It just shook the house. And, I guess they have that in California. I certainly. It was hardly anything. In fact, I was in bed taking a nap, and it just shook the house, and yeah, just interesting. But I guess in other parts of the Philippines, they have earthquakes that, split the road in half and bring buildings down. And so, I feel fortunate that I'm in this area where they're not quite so challenging. And tricycles. Had to learn to ride in tricycles, and I'm big, I'm a big guy, and the people here are really small. I went to a large mall yesterday. I went to a large city, and I was going to get some underwear, and they had small, medium, and large, and I got the large, and I looked at it, and it's tiny. Oh my goodness, it's tiny. These people are tiny. They're small. It's just some things are going to happen, and some things are not. I'm just not going to be able to get some things. So that's one of the things I'm just not going to be able to get. Now, as a consequence of the rainy season, there's been a lot of mosquitoes. And at first, I was getting eaten alive. But I brought with me a really, really heavy-duty mosquito net. And so I have that over my bed right now. And I haven't gotten any mosquito bites since then. And also, I have a really powerful bug repellent that I brought from the U.S. It's got DEET in it. And I wear that, and they just leave me alone. So I would highly recommend, if you decide to come to the Philippines, definitely bring a mosquito net. Definitely bring, some pretty high-powered repellent with you. And finally, critters. They're all bugs and strange birds and worms and centipedes and snakes and all this stuff. It's all over. I mean, it's just like a hotbed of life. It's like if you watched Star Wars, and it's like, man, this is just all this life. It's like the Force. It's just, it's like a cauldron of living creatures. It's amazing, really. I got up last night and I went out to the kitchen to get a glass of water, and there was a string, this trail of ants from outside. It was probably 20 feet away, upside of the sink and across the sink, and they were moving fast. There were thousands of these things. So I just sprayed it with some spray, and then I went to bed, and they were gone this morning. But man, this is incredible. It just, it's like, well, you just can't leave anything out. Yeah, you just have to be very, very careful what you eat, and to make sure that everything is, has a nice cover on it. Yeah, it's those bugs are everywhere, and I see them all the time. I went out yesterday, and I went to pick up my coffee cup, and there were ants on it. So, yeah, I mean, my hosts and the people that I associate with here, everyone seems to take this in strides. Like, oh, okay, yeah, they're ants. Yep, that's that, all right. Yeah, that's mosquitoes. Yep, they sure are. Man, I've seen some bugs here that look like little birds flying around. So, it's definitely been a shock to me. I seem to have picked up some kind of head cold here, and been kind of under the weather for the last few days. But, yeah, it's, I don't color my hair anymore, so it's turned really white, and I get more respect if I have just white hair. These people respect age, and I'm kind of milking that for what it's worth. A couple weeks ago, we've been periodically going to town. It's about 12 kilometers away, and having barbecue. And man, this barbecue is the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. And I've worked in kitchens all my life, and I've had all different kinds of barbecue. And this barbecue down here, oh man, is it good! It is absolutely stellar. It's the best barbecue I've ever had. Okay, well, that kind of wraps it up for this video. And Tony, and I'll catch you next time.